After the nerf to Force of Nature, Ancient of Lore, and Keeper of the Grove, Druid struggled to find its place in the meta. Was Druid's most powerful deck archetype Token Generation? Was Beast Druid the most powerful iteration? Tempo Storm believes that the Druid deck, for now, shapeshifted into what we know as Malygos Druid, a combo tempo hybrid deck. The flashiest cards in this deck are Malygos and Moonfire. The 12 damage from hand is a great finisher. However, part of the deck's power lies in its flexibility. Attempting to win every game with 12 damage over 3 cards and 9 mana is optimistic at best. Muzzy's Malygos Druid anticipated the difficulties in pulling off this combo and designed the deck in such a way that it doesn't necessarily need Malygos to win. 2 copies of Arcane Giant and Yogg-Saron, combined with a series of tempo opportunities, give Malygos Druid plenty of space to win the game. At the start of the game, Malygos Druid is looking for early sources of removal, card draw, and ramp. The only minions that cost less than 4 mana for Druid are the tokens spawned by Living Root, so the Druid is going to look for ways to either cheat their way to 4 mana, or to find removal to contest the board until then. Afterwards, this deck looks to regain tempo on the board with their increased mana and draw a ton of cards with Gadgets and Auctioneer. The finishing cards for this deck are the dual Arcane Giants, Yogg-Saron, and Malygos Moonfire. But how does Druid get there? Moonglade Portal and Feral Rage allow the Druid to gain enough life and contest board presence to last until those final few cards. If you're facing Aggro Shaman or other aggressive decks, the suggested change is swapping out an Arcane Giant for an Ancient of War. Silence is rare these days, so a huge 10 health taunt is sure to get you back in the fight. Against control matchups, consider removing a Feral Rage and swapping in a second copy of Gadgets and Auctioneer to make your card draw engine much more reliable. The Feral Rage's extra HP doesn't really matter in a battle to control the board and to out-tempo your opponent. Part of the reason Malygos Druid is so popular is its success against other decks in the ladder. It has a favorable matchup against warrior decks and competes with mid-range and token shaman. So with that in mind, you are nearly always looking for wild growth and innervate in your hand. Malygos Druid doesn't sport any minions that cost less than 4 mana, so look for early removal to keep you in the game or sources of card draw against control archetypes. An early Raven Idol can give you the perfect answer to a situation or put on some serious pressure with a well-teched card decision. Malygos Druid is extremely powerful, but the real reason you should try it is because it's incredibly fun to pilot. If you enjoyed this deck introduction, be sure and leave us feedback in the form of a like, favorite, or comment. We'll see you next week. Stalling the game and giving the Druid more time to draw. It also summons a hefty 6 mana minion, most of which are essential power cards like Sylvanas, Thaurissan, and Cairn.